Hello, I'm Gloria, a 36-year-old office worker navigating the complexities of daily life. My husband Matthew and I celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary recently, and we became parents almost immediately after our wedding. Our daughter, the light of our lives, is about to turn 8. Over the years, there have been moments of tension in our marriage, but the joy our daughter brings us is undeniable, and overall, I find great happiness in our family life. However, like in any family, there are areas of discontent, and for me, it revolves around financial management within our household. Matthew has a penchant for spending a significant portion of his earnings on his hobbies. While he doesn't go overboard, the amount he spends is not negligible. I have always emphasized the need for him to contribute a fixed minimum amount to our household expenses. This contribution helps us cover the essentials like utilities and groceries. Nonetheless, because Matthew contributes just the minimum, I find myself constantly looking for ways to reduce our spending elsewhere. My salary goes towards our rent, our daughter's school fees, and saving for her future educational costs. This financial juggling is a source of ongoing stress for me. Adding to the strain is the division of household labor. Despite both of us working full-time jobs, Matthew contributes very little to the household chores. I've repeatedly expressed my desire for a more equitable distribution of these duties. Balancing work, financial management, and home maintenance is challenging, and I often wish the responsibilities were more evenly shared. Despite these challenges, I maintain a positive outlook and work tirelessly to ensure our home is a nurturing environment for our daughter. I hope that as she grows, we can model the values of responsibility and teamwork, making adjustments along the way to better support one another in all aspects of our family life. This situation isn't perfect, but I'm committed to making the best of it and ensuring that our family thrives. Whenever I asked him to help around the house, he would claim it would take him too long to do the tasks, using this as an excuse to avoid them. Consequently, it became routine for me to handle everything by myself. We had our daughter shortly after getting married, but my husband hardly participated in her upbringing. He expressed fears of accidentally hurting her, which left me carrying most of the parental responsibilities. Over time, I grew increasingly dissatisfied with my husband. Despite this, we had been together for 8 years and had a growing child. I knew initiating a divorce at a time when our daughter was approaching puberty might not be wise. I told myself that perhaps it was normal for spouses to feel distant after years together, and that no family is perfect. However, a recent incident involving my sister-in-law made me seriously reconsider our marriage. One day, unexpectedly, she showed up at my doorstep looking distressed. "Gloria, I'm sorry, but I need to hide out here for a while," she said urgently. "I've had a bit of a problem with my husband. Can I stay here for a bit?" Curious and concerned, I asked her, "Did something happen with Ryan?" She evasively tried to change the topic, which left me unsatisfied and anxious for more information. I waited until my husband came home from work. It was about 9 p.m., and after we put our daughter to bed, my sister-in-law, my husband, and I finally sat down to talk. "So, what happened, sister?" I inquired. She replied, "Well, Ryan just snapped and angrily said he wants a divorce." This was shocking to me because I always thought of Ryan as a very stable and sincere person. I was taken aback when my sister-in-law mentioned that Ryan, her husband, had abruptly demanded a divorce. It didn't add up. Ryan wasn't the type to lose his temper without a valid reason. "Why did Ryan get so angry?" I asked her. "Why are you asking me that?" she retorted, her voice tinged with panic. It crossed my mind that perhaps she had done something to provoke him, considering his drastic decision to divorce. "Why are you defending Ryan? Are you involved with him or something?" she accused. Of course, I denied it. My husband chimed in, laughing off her accusation. "No, that's impossible. She barely has time for anything beyond her responsibilities," he defended me, noting how I always left my phone out in the open. Despite my husband's defense, I was frustrated. My life was a whirlwind of work, household chores, and caring for our kids. After long days, I barely had time to glance at my phone, let alone engage in an affair. Still puzzled, my sister-in-law insisted she didn't know why Ryan was upset. We decided it was best to speak directly with Ryan to clear the air. Later, Ryan came over to our house. My sister-in-law chose to step out, finding it too awkward to face him. Upon his arrival, Ryan was apologetic, expressing his regret for the upheaval he had caused. "I'm really sorry for causing so much trouble," he said earnestly, confirming my belief in his sensible nature. "I can't understand why you'd ask for a divorce so suddenly, Ryan. You've only been married a year. Isn't that quite severe? There must be a reason," I pressed him, hoping for some clarity on the sudden rift in their marriage. Ryan disclosed a significant issue that had shaken the foundation of their marriage. My sister-in-law had used up his entire savings of $110,000 without his consent. My husband and I were taken aback by the revelation. "You managed to save $110,000 and it's all gone in just 1 year? That averages about $5,500 every month," I said, astounded by the sheer amount. Further probing revealed that Ryan had been diligently managing their finances, allocating sufficient funds from his monthly income to cover all living and necessary expenses. This meant that the $110,000 was spent entirely on non-essential personal entertainment by my sister-in-law. It's only natural for Ryan to be upset. Anyone would be in his shoes, I know I would be. I sympathized, recognizing the difficulty in maintaining a relationship with someone who has such a reckless spending habit. A sense of discomfort lingered in the air, perhaps because my husband, too, shared a tendency to overspend, much like his sister. It felt like familial traits were at play here. Given the circumstances, I suggested to Ryan, if she doesn't make an effort to repay the $110,000, you might want to think about separating, especially since there are no children to consider. Nodding in agreement with my advice, my husband unexpectedly chimed in, "I'll ensure my sister pays you back." His sudden confidence left me puzzled. How could he be so sure? Ryan thanked him, appreciating the support. "I'd appreciate that, thank you." It seemed we had reached a tentative resolution, and I decided to monitor how the situation would evolve from there. After Ryan departed, my sister-in-law made her way back to our house. I confronted her immediately. "Ryan mentioned you used up all of his savings, $110,000. Defensively, she responded, "I used it for living expenses." I tried to explain this to him, but he just wouldn't understand. However, Ryan had previously clarified that he maintained a separate account specifically for everyday expenses. Her reply was sharp and dismissive. "You don't know anything, so just shut up." Her harsh tone was not out of character. She often resorted to belittling me in our conversations. Given her lack of remorse and her dismissive attitude towards the financial chaos she'd caused, it was increasingly apparent that Ryan might indeed be better off seeking a divorce. Her inability to acknowledge the gravity of the situation or express any intent to amend her mistakes painted a bleak picture of the future of their marriage. During the heated discussion, Ryan mentioned that he could consider forgiving my sister-in-law if she repaid the $110,000 she had spent. "How can I pay back that much? I'm just a housewife," she lamented, seemingly cornered by her actions. I retorted somewhat sternly, "If you can't manage to pay it back, you shouldn't be spending his money in the first place." Amidst the tension, my sister-in-law turned to me with a hopeful sparkle in her eye. "Relax, Gloria. We've got money, right? You've got $220,000 saved up, so no worries, right?" she exclaimed as if she had found a miraculous solution. "What? Wait a minute, how do you even know about my savings, Matthew?" I asked, completely thrown off. I had never disclosed to my husband that I had saved that amount for our daughter's future tuition. "I found it when I went to your parents' house. It was in the second drawer of the closet in your room," he admitted nonchalantly. "You went through my things without asking? That's unbelievable. We're married, but that doesn't automatically make my personal belongings open for inspection," I protested, feeling betrayed by the breach of privacy. Ignoring my concerns, Matthew pressed on, "Your sister-in-law is in trouble. Give us your savings to help her out." I was incredulous. "I'm not handing over the money. That's for our daughter's future. If you think $110,000 should just be handed over, then why don't you find a way to pay her?" I challenged. The conversation escalated quickly. "Gloria, please help me. I'm in the middle of a divorce," my sister-in-law pleaded, trying to pull at my heartstrings. "That's none of my business. The situation you're in is of your own making," I responded coldly. She snapped back, accusing me of not caring about family. "That's terrible. You don't love your family. To you, love is just money," she accused bitterly. "I don't need that kind of family love that only sees me as a bank," I retorted sharply. "If you demand $110,000 from me or else threaten divorce, then maybe we really should reconsider this marriage," I said, exasperated. In a dramatic turn, Matthew pulled out divorce papers from a drawer, as if he had been contemplating this option all along. During the confrontation, Matthew casually mentioned he had prepared divorce papers just in case. "I had them ready in case something happened. You've got some nerve trying to manipulate the situation like this," he said with a cold edge to his voice. "That's exactly what I've been wanting to say to you," I shot back, equally frustrated with the audacity of his actions. Then, with an air of finality, Matthew filled out the form and stated flatly, "I'm serious. We can get a divorce anytime you want." My sister-in-law, watching the drama unfold with a mischievous grin, eagerly offered her support to Matthew. "Well, I'll be one of your witnesses," she declared and scribbled her name on the form. "You can either pay me the $110,000 or we can get a divorce," Matthew threatened, thinking he could back me into a corner. I was astounded by their boldness and underhanded tactics. Deciding not to let them see how deeply they were affecting me, I feigned compliance, letting the moment pass without further confrontation. The next day, I took matters into my own hands and invited some important figures, my in-laws and Ryan, to our home. When they arrived, Matthew was bewildered. "Ryan, why are you here? Mom, Dad, what's going on?" Before Matthew could continue, his father intervened. "Matthew, don't embarrass yourself further." Turning to me, his mother apologized. "Gloria, I'm sorry about my sons and daughters' foolish behavior." Ryan also chimed in. "I must apologize to you too, Gloria." Their apologies were a balm, but the situation quickly escalated again when Matthew tried to assert himself. "Why are you two apologizing? You should be quiet." Ignoring him, his father continued. "We went through your room, Matthew, and found stacks of expensive bags and jewelry." His mother explained further. "Ryan asked us to look into it, and it's clear you've had a habit of hiding expensive purchases from us since you were young." The revelations were damning. Facing the mounting evidence of his deceit, Matthew's mother concluded, "I can't stay married to you anymore." The tide had turned dramatically, revealing the true extent of Matthew's financial indiscretions and casting my earlier grievances in a starkly different light. After it came out that my sister-in-law had falsely claimed she used the $110,000 for living expenses, the situation escalated. "I want you to pay me back the $110,000 and then we can get a divorce," Ryan demanded firmly. To everyone's shock, especially Matthew's, I had already taken significant steps. "Oh no, Matthew, you're getting a divorce too. Gloria already filled out the divorce papers and I signed as a witness. We just submitted them together," my sister-in-law declared defiantly. "What? I won't allow that," Matthew exclaimed, outraged. "You won't allow it? What are you talking about? You were the one threatening divorce and trying to make her, who has nothing to do with your sister's debts, take responsibility. You are despicable," I retorted. "Gloria is my wife, not your property. She wasn't born into your family. She is essentially a stranger to whom you should show more respect and care," Ryan interjected, supporting me in front of everyone. Faced with such a straightforward and legitimate argument from my parents-in-law, Matthew was left speechless and could only hang his head in shame. My sister-in-law was also visibly shaken by the turn of events and stood by silently, overwhelmed. Thankfully, my parents-in-law facilitated the conversation smoothly, helping both Ryan and me navigate through the divorce without further complications. In an attempt to make amends, my sister-in-law managed to sell as many luxury goods as she could, gathering about $45,000 to repay Ryan. The remaining $30,000 was handled by my parents-in-law, under whose strict supervision my sister-in-law would have to repay the debt. This arrangement helped restore some balance and ensured that she was held accountable for her actions, while also supporting Ryan and me in starting fresh chapters in our lives. After the divorce, my sister-in-law found herself in a tough spot financially. She now works tirelessly from morning until night, striving to repay the substantial debt she accumulated from mismanaging her former husband's savings. Her days are long and filled with the kind of hard work that leaves little room for rest. As for my ex-husband, the divorce necessitated some adjustments on his part as well. I arranged for him to provide child support, which he has been managing to pay consistently despite his circumstances. However, I've heard through the grapevine that he continues to live alone in his apartment. His salary, though decent, is stretched thin by his rent, living expenses, and child support payments. The financial strain eventually forced him to move to a more affordable apartment. Unfortunately, his long-standing habit of unnecessary spending hasn't helped his situation. Despite living in a cheaper place, he often finds himself broke and without any savings. His financial behavior not only keeps him on a tight budget, but also suggests that he might find it challenging to enter into another relationship anytime soon, given his unstable financial footing. Meanwhile, I've returned to my parents' home with my daughter. Being back home has allowed me to stabilize our lives and focus on the future. My parents have been incredibly supportive, helping with childcare while I work. This support system has been crucial in allowing me to regain my footing after the divorce. I'm working diligently, not just to meet our day-to-day needs, but also to save for my daughter's future. I want her to have every opportunity to pursue her dreams and ambitions without financial constraints. It's a new chapter for us, and I'm determined to make it a successful one. I'm also planning to continue sharing our journey, hoping our story can inspire or help others in similar situations. If you find our story engaging and are interested in seeing how we navigate this new phase of our lives, please subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot, and I look forward to connecting with you in future videos. Thank you for watching.